Hi guys, Rose here. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing another one of our 3 ways videos, and today we're working with fabrics. Now I know we all use fabric in our journals, and you're probably saying, why is she doing a video about fabrics? Yada yada. Because there are some uses that not everybody might have thought of. Newbies in particular might not think of these things straight away, and I just want to kind of get it out there. Okay, so first things first, well actually obviously we use fabric to cover journals a lot of the time. We put flips and flaps and things like that in our journals as well. We use it for collage. A lot of people do fabric collaging. Beautiful stuff actually. So I'm not going to do any of those. They're very basic stuff. They're all self-explanatory. So I have a few other ideas that I have used in my journals. Some of which I have examples, and one of which I will be demoing for you. So first of all, we have page repairs. This is a fun one. This is a journal I made quite a while ago, and I have some pages bookmarked, I'm sure. Yes. Okay, so here you will see the corner of the page. This is fabric, and what happened here was the corner of the page ripped off, and instead of gluing another piece onto it, like I sometimes do as well, I Franken-page it, I decided to use fabric down here. And it is just a unique touch. It looks pretty cute and cool. So that's that one type of repair. And there's one more in here, I'm sure. Oh no, this was actually just an example of a pocket that I made with fabric. I just cut the triangle from fabric and put a picture over the top. And here is another page repair. When I was tea dyeing the paper, when I pulled it up, it ripped right across the center here. So I glued the fabric on first, and then I stitched it to make it look like it had just been stitched. Can you see that? There's stitching on the back, and there's a strip of fabric going across. Okay, so that's another use that you may not have thought to use your fabric with. Okay, one that I quite like to do, as you can see here. So that's that one. So page repairs. I'm just going to tie this up because these strings kind of tend to get caught in everything when they're not tied. Okay, and our second example is in here, and I just need to find the right page. Another journal that I made quite a while ago. What did I do with it? Right, I know I have this bookmarked. Oh, or I thought I had. Silly me. Maybe it's not in this one. One moment. Sorry guys. So here's another journal that I made. This one not too long ago actually. And I just bookmarked this one just to show you that you can use it as edging on your pages as well. And it doesn't have to be ruffled to use it as an edging, just a strip of fabric, nicely frayed, looks quite good. And the other thing that I wanted to show you here is hinges. Is one. We use fabric as hinges because they don't fatigue and wear out the same way paper does. But with these hinges, what's special about these is that I backed some fabric onto cardstock and I die cut it. So you can die cut fabrics as well. Now, little caveat here, it's hit and miss with some dies as to whether they will cut through fabric or not. I'm not saying that every die will work, but play around with it. It's probably easier if you do have it backed onto paper maybe than it is on its own. But yeah, it's worth a try. You get some beautiful results from it and some unique pieces. So there's idea number 2. And idea number 3, I thought I would demo because I wanted to show this stuff. Okay, so I'm going to cover an envelope in fabric, and the best way that I have found to cover paper with fabric is using heat and bond. Okay, a lot of people in the States will probably know about this product. I didn't know about it until maybe 2 years ago, and I use it quite a bit. So this is the Heat and Bond Ultra Hold. Being that it's the Ultra Hold, it is a bit thicker than I would imagine that the lighter ones would be. I think there's Heat and Bond Light as well. So, but that's the one that I use because if I'm covering a fabric with if I'm covering a cover with fabric and I'm sticking it to heavy card, I want it to stay there, so I use the Ultra Hold for that. The thinner ones would probably be better for this, but I'm going to work with this today. Now, pro tip: if you do not have one of these in your craft room, well, what are you even a crafter? Okay. This is a straight iron, as you can see. I did buy this for my hair and commandeered it for the craft room because I use it way more in the craft room than I ever would on my hair. So it gets used in here. So that's on and heating. And as you can see, I have opened up my envelope and I have cut just a square off of the roll of Heat and Bond, just a little bit wider than my envelope. And the other thing I'm going to use here is some shiny sticker paper. This is actually a sheet that came off of a larger piece of the Heat and Bond itself. And I'm going to put that shiny side down. Okay, so we have a little sandwich going on here. Now, this is well hot enough, I would imagine, at this stage. So I'm just going to press slowly and just get all that glue melted. So what the Heat and Bond actually is, it's a glue that melts when you heat it. So I have it pressed up against the surface of the paper, so once it melts, it will melt itself onto the paper. But because the backing is there, I still have the option to put something else on the other side. Just getting this all heated up. As you can see, it's a simple process. Obviously you could do this with an iron as well, and I do use an iron if I'm doing a book cover because they're larger and it's just easier. The flat iron won't reach all the ways to the centers and stuff properly. It makes it awkward. So just trying to make sure that it is all stuck down. There. And because we have our shiny side down, it's still a bit too hot at that side. Leave that there for a minute. You can just peel it off and your envelope is now stuck on. Free. So the next thing to do, I have my fabric here. I have marked it on the wrong side, unfortunately, and I'm going to have to figure out the placement as I go, but that's okay. Next thing we need to do is take the backing off of our Heat and Bond. Now this can be a bit of a trial, I'm not going to lie, but I'm just going to tear this piece because I'm not using it anyway, and it will just peel right off. Now at this moment I want to say, keep this stuff, it comes in very handy. I keep all of it. Now, so you can see that I have a clear sheet of glue. It's not sticky anymore because it's not hot. And it's well adhered to my envelope. I have managed to fold it over here, but that's okay, we can pull that off. Now at this point I am going to trim off these extra pieces, we don't need them. It's handy to have an overhang when you're putting down the first piece. but it can be annoying when you're putting down the second piece, depending on what you're doing. But I'm going to trim it off at this point anyway. And I'm going to trim it pretty close. We'll be trimming out the fabric anyway, so it should be fine. But I don't want to have a load of glue stuck on my fabric where I don't have the envelope, because I want to use these embroidered pieces on other things excuse me, and I don't want them covered in glue, so that's why I am trimming. I'm not being overly precise about it. I'm actually trying harder to not cut into the envelope than I am to try and get it very close. So this is actually a great product for people just starting out, when you want to glue fabric to your paper and it gets all wrinkled and messy and you get frustrated with it. This is a great product for it. I highly recommend it, and you get a nice big roll of it as well. I mean, I've had that roll for about 1.5 years and I use it nearly every time I cover a book, so there's quite a bit on it. Nearly there. Et voila. Put that into the bin. Now, I need to find my placement on my little placemat here. I'm just going to pick it up and see through it to the markings. Obviously, when you're doing it yourself, mark it on the right side. Actually, the wrong side of the fabric, but the right side that you need to mark it on, if you know what I mean. So I think that is about right. What I was trying to do was get this little red flower onto the corner here and have that yellow flower on the flap. Okay, so I'm just going to try and keep this in place. I'm just going to slide it over onto my flat iron and clamp that just to keep it all in place. Now, I actually have glue on that. Once it dries, it won't be hot, or once it cools down, it won't be hot anymore. But because of that, I'm going to put my paper back in. Probably actually have glue on the flat iron itself, to be honest, because I do this all the time. Now, once that's kind of, the envelope should be well stuck in place there, so I'm going to start picking it up and moving it around. Yeah. See, it's getting stuck down. Now, this part is going to take a little longer with the pressing than the initial part, because you have 3 layers to go through here. So make sure you give it a good press to melt that glue. And once I have some of it done, I will trim it out and do the rest of it then, once it's trimmed out. I hope you guys are enjoying these videos. They do seem to be relatively popular, but if there's anything about them that you'd like to see done differently or whatever, please do let me know in the comments. Or if there's any particular product that you'd like me to work with, or any particular item that you'd like me to work with for a 3 ways video, do by all means suggest it below. I'm starting to kind of run out of ideas a little bit. I'm sure I'll come up with something, but yeah, if there's anything in particular that you'd like to see, let me know. I'm all ears. Well, that's no wonder. I had turned off my flat iron. Well, that was silly. And why is it blinking at me now? It doesn't normally blink. Anyway, let's see if I got any of it. Well, that was a great big waste of time, guys. Sorry. I'll cut that bit out, maybe. Okay, so let's slide it in here again without moving it. It did stick in one place, so that was enough. This should work better. Because it's turned on, you know. Yeah. So there's another pro tip. Turn on your flat iron or your iron. Now another thing you could do actually is just cut out the envelope out of the fabric and just have a fabric envelope without backing it at all. It'd be very sweet as well. It would have a completely different feel about it than the ones backed with paper. But both are very sweet, very cute. And sometimes very beautiful depending on what you do with them. Nearly there. You could also actually sew the envelope on the fabric. I think that would look awesome as well. All depends on the look you're going for, I guess. Okay, so that's mostly on there. Some of this glue, it must be on my flat iron. That's okay. Be on the inside of the envelope anyway. Alright, so I do have most of that on. Just this bit over here, I am going to try and get it before I cut it out, because it will make it easier to cut out the envelope itself. So why not? It only takes a minute. And it's small enough that I can get all the pieces. So and obviously when you're doing this, mind your hands, don't get burned. I know we're all adults here and I shouldn't have to say that, but still. Okay, turn that off. I'm going to let this piece cool down a small bit. Another tip as well, if you're using heat like this or in heat embossing and things and you want things to cool down quickly, put them on a glass surface or a metal surface and they'll cool down a lot faster. There we go. Okay, trimmy trim. I'm going to have this little purple flower left out and it's going to be very cute to use somewhere else. There's a bit I missed as well. I'll come back to that, it's fine. I'm actually using the wrong scissors there because I know that that's not going to do it right for me. Here we go. That's much better. Now, obviously you could cut your envelope out of patterned cardstock as well, or patterned paper, and have a lovely pattern on the inside and your fabric on the outside, or your fabric on the inside if you wanted that. But it'll also be pretty cool. And if you don't have access to that heat and bond, a fabric glue will do it for you. I really like the product and I think it's very useful. So I wanted to show you that today. I really don't like that I'm having to cut through some of these embroidered flowers, but I really wanted to use this piece on here. I think it'll be very pretty. You can see the flap already, isn't it cute? So cute. I mean, it's a simple idea, just covering a plain envelope the same as you would with pretty paper, just doing it with fabric. And like I said, it's just something I think not everybody would think to do. And this would be great. It would look awesome slow stitched as well. If you put on your fabric and then go slow stitching on it, I think it would look awesome. I am not a great one for slow stitching, I will admit. I think it's something that I would get extremely frustrated and bored with very quickly. I've never actually tried it, but there you go. I used to hand stitch clothes, repair clothes when I was younger, but I have a sewing machine now, so I don't need to. I should just want to get this little bit. I think this might still be hot enough. Gosh darn it. Going to have to take this thing and clean it. Yeah, that's actually stuck down there now. Okay, now there are little bubbles around here. You can go back over once you turn it over, and if you see any bubbles, you can just go back over it. Obviously, with an iron as well, the wrinkles will come out of it. Well, the wrinkles will come out of it with this as well if I was doing it right. And as you can also see, I do still have pencil marks there because I marked it all wrong. I'm going to see if I can get them off with this. Yeah, that won't be too bad, I think. That'll work quite nicely. These bits aren't going to be really seen anyway, but okay, and I'm going to fold along my folds. I'm going to fold them backwards just so that I have a good idea of where I need to fold them. And all we'll do is glue our envelope up again like this. Get my bone folder. And I managed to get that little red flower on there, which I'm very pleased about. Et voila, the flap is beautiful. And there you have a beautiful fabric covered envelope. Now I am not going to glue this. Normally you would just glue it here, or even, no, you can't stitch it, yeah. You would have to glue it, and that would be your envelope done, but I might do a bit more on this part here, so I'm not going to glue it right now, but just so that you get the idea. There's another little piece there that needs gluing down. Just so you get the idea of how to do it, I wanted to show you how to do it on camera using the heat and bond as well. Yeah, there we go. All done. So that is the video for today. If you do like the video and you enjoy what I'm doing in these videos, would you please hit the like button below. It really helps my channel, and it helps me to know what you guys are enjoying and what you're not. And hit subscribe as well. I'd love to see you come back. Okay, that's it for me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Talk to you soon. Bye.